Take a live look over Independence Boulevard. It is hot out there today. Just getting started, 82 degrees, but we're going to get into the 90s. Let's bring in meteorologist Brandon Lawson. Brandon, I got to tell you, this morning I put my son in shorts, right?
Yes.
He went back into his room and then put on jeans. I said, no, brother, not on a 90-degree day, but he's 5. So I had to explain to him, you know what, it's going to be hot outside today.
I tell you what, when he walked out there, he probably been like, Mom, these jeans ain't going to
Right.
He probably would have learned without even you telling him how hot it is out there with those layers on today. Definitely want to have the shorts, light, loose clothing. Don't want to wear dark clothing either. Black shirts and things like that will absorb heat. So just want to be careful with things like that as we go through this heat wave together here over the next week or so. Temperatures already in the mid-80s across some of the area. 83 in Charlotte, 84 in Concord, 81 in Hickory. We're at 76 at Boone. But again, it's the heat index, the feels like temperature. This is what your body's reacting to. It feels like 90 in Charlotte, feels like 95 in Charlotte. We could have triple-digit feels like temperatures later this afternoon. It could feel like 100 degrees at times in some areas. And again, that is when you're factoring in that mugginess. Why do we have these heat index values? Well, our bodies sweat, and when our bodies sweat, that sweat evaporates from our skin. That sweat evaporates, cools us down. Evaporation is a cooling process. However, when there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere can't take moisture from our body, so we just can overly sweat and get overheated, and that's what we could be seeing here over the next couple of days. So today we've got 92 degrees for a high, but feeling like 100 degrees at times, feeling like 102 tomorrow afternoon before a line of storms moves in to cool things down. Low 90s, upper 80s a possibility Friday. We'll have a little bit lower of a heat index because, again, we'll have a little less humidity for Friday, but then by the weekend, the humidity goes back up, and so do temperatures. 93 on Saturday, 96 degrees on Sunday, and it will feel like triple digits this weekend when you step outdoors for any outdoor plans. Looking at Futurecast right now, again, as we go into the afternoon, I do expect more storms to develop right along I-40. Man, one of these downpours will just be great today to cool things down. I will say I wouldn't be shocked if an isolated storm or two tries to make it down to Charlotte in the I-85 corridor. The further south of I-85 you get, like towards areas like Monroe, Rock Hill, Rockingham, right along the Highway 74 corridor, likely going to stay more dry there. Then we've got to track lines of storms back to our west. So here's one line that'll be moving through eastern Tennessee tonight. It'll likely make it to the mountains with a few stray showers tomorrow morning and then weaken as it heads towards Charlotte tomorrow morning. But then there's going to be another line of storms behind that moves in probably around noon to the mountains tomorrow and then heads towards Charlotte right around 3-4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And we'll have to watch this line of storms for potentially damaging wind gusts as we head through the day tomorrow. Damaging wind gusts, hail going to be our main concerns as that line of storms moves through. And again, during the peak heating hours of the day, you definitely get concerned about severe weather when we have the maximum heat and instability for those storms. So the severe risk today is west of us, but then as we go into tomorrow, you can see that severe risk get a little bit closer to our region, really pretty much right over top of us. Damaging wind gusts and hail, again, going to be the main concern. Not really worried about flooding with this scenario, but we could see some isolated instances of high water depending on where that rain can stack up. Not necessarily worried about a tornado in this setup too, but damaging wind gusts can still cause damage, especially when you have a lot of storms moving like that during the summer season. So definitely something to keep in mind here for tomorrow. For your Juneteenth, I would plan to do things early in the day, and if you're doing them late, do them indoors. Temperatures in the low 90s this afternoon, but feeling like 100 degrees at times tonight. We're dropping into the 70s. Tomorrow for your Juneteenth, we start in the 70s, a dry start, but then we get into the lower 90s with those heat index values near 102 degrees and storms moving in during the afternoon and evening. Looking at the rest of your 7-day forecast, the first day of summer, believe it or not, is on Friday. So we haven't even gotten to the summer season yet, but it's already here. It feels like it. We're in the mid-90s this weekend, but then Monday, Alicia, 97 degrees. It could feel like 106 to 107 degrees when you factor in the humidity.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Brandon, for that.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.